Antonio Badaracco, the true definition of infamy in this category. He was born in 1870 within California. He was the son of Giacomo and Maria Badaracco, and brother of Julia, Maggie, and Carrie. Quote, Tony Badaracco terrorized Jackson and surrounding areas. He was at the point of infamy where his name was remembered well after his death. There were dozens of incidents in which his hothead got him into serious trouble. However, he always seemed to get a slap on the wrist for several years. The first allegation against Badaracco was that he deceased his own mother when he was a child. Apparently, he got mad at her for something minuscule, and threw a rock at her stomach. She was pregnant at the time, which made the injury more severe. She and her unborn child ended up passing from that injury. Later on in his life, he shot Virgilio Belwomini for making advances towards his younger sister. He also attempted to decease another man, D. Burnsich, for possibly the same reason. In 1903, he attacked his father with a rock. He survived, but the rampage continued on. Badaracco chased one of the hired workers, Mr. Garibaldi, down to Jackson by shooting at him for fun. Later, Badaracco was badly beaten by his mining partners when they caught him stealing high grading from their own mine. Apparently, he'd hit a vein, but didn't tell anyone. To get his revenge, Badaracco hid dynamite in the crusher they used for treating ore, in order to cause an explosion, and decease them when they started working. Luckily, they noticed it when it got stuck in the crusher, and did not go off. Afterwards, they beat him within an inch of his life, which caused him to suffer brain damage. He also needed a metal plate surgically placed in his skull. One time, he was so drunk that he was kicked out of a bar in Jackson. A man, Arthur Jones, came by on horseback. Badaracco cursed at him and called him foul names. Arthur engaged in the argument, and was beaten badly by Badaracco. He was arrested, but nothing ever seemed to happen to him. Badaracco also liked to terrorize his sisters, which leads to the questions regarding him as being the reason they never married anyone. He was always threatening them. One day, his sister, Maggie, was home, cooking, when he came in and demanded she give him her money. She told him she didn't have any. He then pulled out his gun, and shot at the ground between her legs. The bullet ricocheted and hit the stove. He then proceeded to take an axe and break into her trunk, where she stored her money. He took Maggie's hard-earned money, and went off to spend it, more than likely on booze and card games. It didn't stop there. In 1905, he deceased and hanged a man, John Pendola, after he believed Pendola threw a horse race on their property near Caples Lake, near Kirkwood. Pendola was riding Badaracco's horse in a race between Badaracco and a man named Mr. Ruffner. However, Badaracco requested that Pendola race in his place. When Pendola lost the race, he was shot and his body hanged. When Badaracco realized a child witnessed his horrific act, he threatened the child not to tell anyone, and even bribed the child with money. Ruffner figured out what happened, and alerted authorities. Soon after, Badaracco found himself in jail within Alpine County, facing decease himself. It is noted that Anthony Caminetti came up to defend Badaracco, and promised that he would have him face the decreasing charge in Amador County, if they'd let him go. It was allowed, and he, Badaracco, went to trial. He was found guilty of manslaughter. He was sent to San Quentin to serve out a 10-year sentence. Badaracco was beaten to death by the guards of San Quentin on March 1, 1908. He was 38 years old. What you just heard, the background and violent history of Antonio, or Tony, Badaracco, was researched by Carolyn Fragilia and Jason Smith. This research was shared publicly by Jamie Rubio, who also provided Badaracco's mug shots. I took the photograph of Badaracco's grave on September 17, 2024. Thank you for watching this video.